You're our best friend when it's time to get the person out. Now, when they go on the run, don't hate us because we all in your business. We are going to be all in everybody's business. Okay? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Speak Now, Never Hold Your Peace podcast, where I am your host, Ebony Stiff. And tonight I am wearing, so it's kind of pretty much laid back. It's pajamas. As you know, we podcast in our pajamas. And tonight I am wearing a black shirt. It has the word sleep written in cursive with like two eyes that are closed. So you only see the eyelashes and the matching bottom. So that is what I'm wearing tonight for those of you who can't see me. And I'd be interested to know, what are you wearing? What are you wearing as you're getting ready to dive into tonight's topic with Speak Now, Never Hold Your Peace podcast? Okay, so tonight's topic is Women International Month, Women International Day. And I just want to give a shout out to all my bail bonds and women who are out there making it happen, making it do what it do, and just making it look so good and so fun, even though we all know it's bail bondsmen. When we're chasing somebody, that is no fun. But tonight's episode is dedicated to my bail bonds women. Why? Because I'm a bail bonds woman as well, and I love what I do. I love helping people. So we're going to dive into actually what it is that happens after you get arrested from the defendant's side and just a little bit from the bail bond side. I'm not going to give away too much on the bail bond side because I have decided that I am going to talk more about that like on a weekly basis on my YouTube channel. So make sure you are subscribed to my YouTube channel as well, and you'll be able to get updates about the bail bond world weekly. I think I'm going to do it on Fridays. So just look out for it. Make sure you subscribe. And that is all that we're going to talk about tonight. So are you guys ready? Let me tell y'all something that just happened. And I was like, a friend of mine, they are women, and they just did a pickup, and it was on Instagram. And I texted them so fast. I said, how did I miss the pickup fun? Because they look like they had so much fun, and they made it look so easy. And I was just so proud of them. I was like, yes, we are out here doing it. Apparently, so let me explain what a pickup is. A pickup is when we, the bondsmen, have bonded someone out of jail, and they have promised to go to court. So in exchange for being out on bond, being free, being able to go to work, being able to see your family and all of those things, in exchange, you're supposed to go to court. And when that does not happen, a warrant is issued by the courts. And once the warrant is issued, then it is our job to bring you back into custody. Or if there was an issue where you couldn't attend, like let's say you were in jail in another county, you were at the hospital, there's some valuable reason why you have not attended court. You're able to communicate that reason to your bondsman, to the attorney. You're able to provide proof of that reason. And then at that point, we'll be able to get you another court date set. But in the event that you don't provide any of that proof and you just decided for whatever reason you're not going to go to court, and now we have to come and pick you up and place you back into custody. So hence, that's where the short-term pickup comes from, because we're literally picking you up and placing you back in jail where you now belong because you have a warrant and you didn't do what you say you were going to do, which is go to court in exchange for being bonded out. So this particular story, my bail bondsman, shout out to you. I won't put your names out there, but I love them. I love seeing what they're doing. Apparently, I think this person was, like kind of not being so nice to them, just, saying mean things to them, telling them, basically like, catch me if you can, or you got to come and get me. And you just don't want to tell a woman that, sir. Like, that's just not a good thing to do. I think every woman, right? We have the capability to find who we want to find. When we go on the hunt, we are going to find you. We're going to find everything we need to know about you. your family, everybody. So it's just in your best my apologies, to do what you're supposed to do and go to court so we don't have to pick you up. Okay. So that is what inspired my episode today. I love those ladies, love them. I missed out on the pickup fund. Everyone is safe and sound. My bail bonds women are back home and the person is back in custody, where they belong. So let's go back to the beginning. When you first get arrested, what happens? Obviously, the police have determined that a crime has been committed. Does it mean that you're guilty? Absolutely not. Is it our job as a bondsman to determine if you're guilty? Absolutely not. Someone has determined that there's probable cause. And when I say someone, law enforcement has determined probable cause has happened. They have placed you under arrest and they have taken you to the county jail. If it's a federal issue, you have gone to a federal holdover. But for the sake of this conversation, we're only going to be talking about the county crime. So felony, I'm not talking anything federal. I'm not talking about any ICE holds. I'm not talking about any child support issues. I'm only talking about, misdemeanors and felonies, bondable offenses. Okay. You get to the jail. Once you get to the jail, excuse me, guys, my apologies. Okay. Once you get to the jail, they turn in the paperwork to the clerks there. We have the deputies working at the jail in your county. They may be called whatever, but they are the employees at the facility at the jail. They will take your paperwork from the arresting officers. They will then put your paperwork into the system. This is called booking. You get arrested, you go to a facility, the arresting officers hand your information over to the employees at the jail. They put your information into the system. This is called booking. In booking, that is when they take your picture, you change clothes, and you abide by whatever rules they have for you there at that time. During this time, you're able to make phone calls for free to your family members or friends. I believe they have to be local calls. I'm not too sure on that. But at this point, you're able to make calls until you are transferred from the booking area to a cell, pretty much, or a different area. It's called different things in different counties. But in booking is where they take all your information. You may be asked to urinate in a cup. They may take some blood. Whatever your situation is, when you first get there, you're pretty much evaluated. Your charges are then put into the system. At that point, a bondsman can see why you're in jail, the crimes you've been accused of, and what your bond amount is. At that point, the bondsmen, we, the bondswomen and men, we make a decision as to whether or not you are bond worthy for our company. At the end of the day, it's still a business. At the end of the day, it's still how we make our money to feed our families. And also, we don't want to actually be chasing people and picking people up. We do not want to be doing that. Okay? So when we look at charges, if it's something, honestly speaking from me and my experience, if I feel like it's something that you may run from or if you ran in the past, I'm not bonding you out. I'm just not. I like to go to sleep at night. I don't want to be chasing people around. So if it's something where it's a serious crime where you may even be facing life or something like that, and there's a situation where you have the tendency to not show up to court, you have a lot of failure to appears, so that's short for FTA. If you have a lot of those on your records, you're gonna find a hard time bonding out of jail. You just really are at the end of the day, because that's a risk. And if you're a very high risk, you may find yourself just sitting in jail. Now, does that mean you're guilty? No. Does that mean another bondsman won't take the risk and bond you out? It doesn't mean that at all. It just means I'm not doing it. Okay, that's all it means. I'm not doing it. So call someone else. Keep calling and calling and calling until, you get it done. But if it's something where I don't feel like you may run, And when I say I don't feel like you may run, I haven't had a lot of people run from me who have DUI charges, who honestly have battery charges, or people who strongly feel like, hey, I didn't commit a crime. I'm innocent. I'm going to fight these charges. I don't care what they are. Those clients typically don't run. And people who actually invest in private attorneys, typically they don't run. So a lot of my, possession of cannabis charges, things like that, people don't typically run from that. And the reason they don't run is because the punishment in their eyes is not severe enough to actually go on the run. So those are typically the charges that I do. I like the smaller bonds. I like the ones where I can sleep good at night. I don't have to worry. And that's what happens. So once you get your charges, once it has been determined what the amount that it's going to take to bond you out, then at that point, that's when the family contacts the bondsman. And then we go through paperwork. We send over paperwork to the family member who has contacted us. Now let's get into that. Let's get into it. When we send paperwork to the person who is bonding out the individual who is in jail, a lot of times that is where things stop. And they are like, why do you need to know my name? Why do you need to know my social? Why do you need to know where I work? I am not the one in trouble. I did not do anything. Why do I have to give you this information? Some people go through and give me the information. Some people decide, I don't want to do this and I'm not going to be responsible. The reason you have to give us that information is because if this person doesn't go to court, guess what? You're responsible for the entire bond. Yes, you, the person who called the bail bondsman to get this person out of jail, you are responsible for making sure they go to court. And if they don't go to court, you're basically signing paperwork in a nutshell that says, if they don't go to court, I'm going to tell you where they are to arrest them and put them back in custody. Or if they had a valuable reason for missing court, I will provide that information to you so we can get a court date reset. Or 3, I'm going to pay the entire bond amount, whatever that is. So let's just say, and I'm going to use $10,000. Let's just say the bond was $10,000. You only paid $1,000 through a bail bondsman to get that person out of jail. If that person misses court and you don't want to tell us where they are, and they don't have a valuable reason that they missed that they can prove, you are now responsible for paying us $10,000. That's how it works. So if you're signing for people and people are calling you or asking you to sign them out of jail and saying, oh, it's not a big deal, it is very much a big deal. You are putting yourself on the line. And that's why we need all of your information, because if we can't find them and you're not helping us find them, we're coming after you for the money. It's simple. You have to pay it. It's a contract. You signed a legal binding contract to get this person out of jail. You are then responsible. So what happens, let's just say the person, hey, they missed court and they're like, forget you, the person who signed for me, I don't care. Guess what happens? The court doesn't care. The court is now saying, hey, this person didn't do what they're supposed to do. They have a warrant for their arrest. The court also says, hey, bonds lady, you bonded them out. This is your responsibility. You're either going to pay us this $10,000 or get this person back in jail or get their court date reset. And as a bondsman, we're like, hey, you signed for them. You're either going to tell us where he or she is, give us a valuable reason, or pay this money. So it's a domino effect. It comes right on down, and it all comes down to the person who signed for them. That's why that is very important that we get your information. And if you do not feel like you're able to tell where this person is, like if you don't know their blood type and where they hang and where they may be, don't sign for them. If you're not the person that's going to tell, don't sign for them. Because we don't want to deal with that as a bondsman. We really don't want to. You're our best friend when it's time to get the person out. Now, when they go on the run, don't hate us because we all in your business. We are going to be all in everybody's business, okay? To find this person who bonded out. So to make life easy for everyone, if you go to jail, and you bond out using a bondsman, go to court. Accept the consequences for your actions and go to court and prove your innocence if you're innocent. That is all. Because as bondsmen, what we're doing, we're helping you get back to your family. We're helping you get back to your everyday routine, your everyday life, while everything else is figured out. And in return, if you have a court date set, you must go. Another myth, and I don't even know how I got to another myth, but people believe that you only have to go to one court date and it's over. No, when you bond out of jail, you have to go to every single court date. If it's 20 court dates, you're going to 20 court dates, okay? It's not, your bond is not complete until the case is closed. Now, it doesn't matter what happens when the case closes. And when I say that, I mean, as a bondsman, all we want to know is the case closed. That is when you're free from being on bond. That is when the person who signed for you is free from any obligations when the case closes. If you take probation, you are not on bond with us until your probation is finished. That is not what that means. The case closed when you took probation. The case closes if the charges get dropped. The case closes if you get sentenced to county jail or prison or just fines. So at any point the case closes, that's when your obligation with the bondsman is done. We have no more obligation to you, to your case, or anything of that nature. So that is what that means. That's where the job starts for us, when your case closed. And that's what we want. We want to receive case closed information in the mail. We do not want to receive that you have missed court and now we have to go search for you. Okay, so do what you're supposed to do. We'll do what we're supposed to do. We're really nice people. We really are. We just want you to do what you said you were going to do, and we're going to do what we said we're going to do, which is get you out of court. If you have questions about your court date or anything like that, if you're on bond with me, feel free to call me. Everyone who's ever bonded out with me know they can call me. They have my phone number. That we text each other. I send them updates on their cases if they ask, because I believe that everyone deserves a chance, okay? And I believe that if you're on bond with me, I'm going to treat you the same way that I would treat any family member, and I'm going to be there for you and give you any information that you need, okay? So we just ask that you don't take advantage of us. Don't be on the video like I saw on Instagram the other day where you had to be chased down and picked up and now you're in handcuffs. All right. Another thing I want to talk about, if you go to jail and you have no bond, the bondsman cannot give you a bond. That is just something we cannot do. We would love to, but we cannot give you a bond. So you have to wait until you see the judge the next day, and the judge will decide if you get a bond and how much that bond will be. And then once that happens, then you can go through all the process that I just said. You'll go through that from beginning to end. So if you go to jail and you don't have a bond, unfortunately, calling us is not going to help. There's nothing we can do. As bondsmen, we don't regulate that. We would love to, but there's just certain laws in place, and it's not our place to set a bond for you. It's our job to read the bonds that have been set and, bond you out accordingly. There's nothing we can do if you don't have a bond set. If you have a child support purge, it must be paid to the jail. There's nothing, we can't bond you out on a child support purge. So pay your child support and then you'll be free. Okay? You will be free. And last but not least, if you pay a bondsman 10%, it is non-refundable. I'm going to say that again. If you pay a bondsman 10% of the bond, it is non-refundable. It doesn't matter if your case closes the day after you got out of jail. The bond is non-refundable. That's it. You pay the 10%. That is the fee for you to get out of jail. You don't get that fee back. That's a big misunderstanding within this world of bail bondsmen, which is why I have created an additional form for my paperwork, which clearly states this fee, and I fill in whatever the fee is non-refundable, because a lot of people think, oh, when my case closes, I get my money back. There are situations in Florida where you get your money back. Keep in mind, I'm a bail bondsman in the state of Florida. I should have said that in the beginning. My apologies. In Florida, there are instances where you do get your money back, and that's only if you paid anything over 10%. So anything over 10%, you get your money back. Okay? So anything over 10%, you get your money back. Anything 10%, you don't get it back. Okay? And that money is held as collateral. Anything over. So if your bond was $10,000, you paid a bondsman $10,000. Once the case closes, you get back $9,000 because the $9,000 was held as collateral. Now, if you miss court and that money has to be paid, you don't get it back. All right, so I hope that clears up some stuff. That is our time for tonight. You know, I don't try to keep you guys past 20 minutes. Thank you for hanging out with me. And I will see you in 2 weeks at the Speak Now, Never Hold Your Peace podcast. Good night, y'all. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Speak Now, Never Hold Your Peace. You can find me bi-weekly on the Alive Podcast Network or anywhere that you listen to your podcast. Until next time, speak now and never hold your peace.